Thank you for joining us, guys. This is Jerry Martinez. Along with me is Walter Stringer, the senior draft analyst on the East West Football Network. And welcome to the Zero Blitz Draft Coverage. So this week we're covering the top tight ends because we have a deep tight end class in next year's 2021 NFL draft class. So let's get straight into it. Who do you got number one, Walter?
Number one, I have Charlie Kolar. Is it Kolar or is it Kolar? Because
It's
I've
called
heard, want to make sure it's Kolar.
it's Kolar, yeah.
All right, Charlie
He's
Kolar from Iowa State. Um, when I look at Charlie, the first thing that jumps out is production. I understand he played in a spread offense at Iowa State that showcased a lot of three wide receiver and three tight end sets, but he was still able to take advantage of all the opportunities he got. Big kid, still a lot of room to grow in that frame, muscular, thick legs. He drives through a lot of plays. He catches pretty much everything. He knows how to use his body. Very good body control on jump balls, as you can see on display in that Texas Tech film.
mm-hmm.
Um, he's not the casual number one overall, which is Pat Fryermuth, and I can understand for a variety of reasons why. But currently, Kolar is my number one guy.
That is really bold, man. I mean, Firemouth is exactly what the league is looking for. I, man, I
Problem
see.
is he's a chain mover. He's nothing dynamic, and I
eh,
think I've heard it could just be me, but then I've also heard some other analysts say, when it comes to him, it's kind of like a 10-yard curl,
Yeah,
and that's kind of it. It's not much downfield unless he's running a streak.
yeah, I see, I see. No, but I will tell you this: Kolar, he brings this unique. I mean, he's still. It looks like he's finding his confidence and his rhythm in playing the position. I mean, Texas Tech was a great game, right? It showed that he can high point a ball very well. His concentration level is really good, and then his blocking was showcased in that game as well too. He's a willing blocker. The only thing I think the biggest knock on him is his athletic ability after he catches the ball. But then again, I mean, if you can get a first down out of him, you know what I mean? I think that he's done his job. Most people want to see those breakaway just those
Well, that
insane.
doesn't happen with tight ends too much,
Yeah,
unless you're talking about Vernon Davis.
yeah. That's what I mean. It's been a while, right? Vernon Davis and who's your Lions? The Eric Ebron, right? He was supposed to be the next Vernon Davis, but staying on course though. I think with Kolar, he has. I mean, if he gets into the right system and the right coach is there with him, I think that he will end up being the best tight end in this draft class. But to put him at number one right away, oh man, it's really bold on you. Let's hear what.
What's
Let's
the
hear.
projection?
Well, first round.
Yeah, I think he's a first round talent. It just comes down to what team falls in love with.
That's
And
true.
it doesn't necessarily have to be him. A team could fall in love with Kyle Pitts in the top 15 or
That's
the top, or Fryermuth at number 10. So it comes down to which is your favorite flavor. And all three of those guys are different in their
yeah, they
own
are.
ways.
Who's your number two tight end?
Kyle Pitts from Florida.
Wow.
A lot of people call him the human chess piece, a souped up wide receiver. But people forget Pitts was coming out of high school. He was a tight end. He's always been a tight end.
Yeah.
He was the number two tight end in the country coming out of college. I think he was with the fifth overall prospect in the state of Pennsylvania. So he's always been a tight end. And if you watch him play, you look and say, okay, you know what? He physically may look like a wide receiver, but no, he doesn't have that smoothness, that suddenness that you need from a wide receiver. So I can understand why he's always been exclusively a tight end. But when you look at him, he makes guys look bad in matchups. Just remember what he did to the Blitnikov. Was the Blitnikov winner last year? Uh,
Um. Oh my
LSU,
goodness.
from LSU.
Uh. Uh.
Grant
Yes.
Delpit. Yeah.
Yes,
In
yes,
that game
yes.
last year against LSU, Delpit had no answer for him. And Delpit is a big safety.
Yeah.
You
I would
know, he's a rough time. He's a rough issue for a lot of defense.
I will say this. Are you gonna get an inline blocker from him? I
No.
no, but I will tell you
Can he be a better blocker? Yeah.
he
I don't
can.
think he'll ever be the guy that's just gonna railroad people and drive their face mask into the ground, but can he latch on to guys and steer them out of the play? Yeah, he can. Can he
Yeah,
hold a guy up long enough so his running back can hit the seam and get an extra 10 yards? He can do that. And honestly, if a guy can give me dynamic ability in the receiving game, in the blocking game, that's pretty much all I can ask for from him. Just do your job. I
yeah,
don't expect you to really hurt people. It'd be nice if everybody was Quentin Nelson blocking, but everybody's not Quentin Nelson, and everybody doesn't have that mentality. Some guys are out there to catch footballs and score touchdowns, and as long as he can be an adequate blocker, I'm okay with it. But
yeah,
like you said, he's another guy that needs to go to the right system.
yeah. He does need the right system, but I will tell you this. I mean, he's exciting. Yards after the catch. I mean, he does that very well. And like you said, he's very sneaky in his route running. I mean, I saw him fake out. It was Grant Delpit. I mean, I was like, whoa, that was nice, right? Fake him out right in the middle and was able to catch the ball. And then he actually took it for some for some additional yak.
Look, look at his arms too.
Yeah,
Like he has some long arms.
yes, he does. So the only thing with him is let's see what they do with Chase Claypool with the Steelers, right? The Steelers drafted Chase Claypool.
Yeah.
They have him projected as a tight end. He played wide receiver. Claypool did a lot more though. I mean, he was actually on special teams. So let's see what they do with him. I mean, worst case scenario, and you're probably gonna hate me for this. Devin Funches, right? Which is he was a tight end at Michigan with the Michigan Wolverines, and then when he went into the NFL with the Carolina Panthers, they made him a wide receiver right away. So that's the worst case scenario. So who do we got next?
Pat Frymuth, Penn State,
Baby
probably the
Brock.
safest. Yeah, probably the safest pick out of all these guys. He's what 6'5", 255, strong, thick built dude, very good blocker, very good in line. I just question. I had the same issue with him that I had as far as Jamar Chase, and I just question: is he a high level NFL athlete? Because the things you do in college is good against college talent, but how does that translate to the next level? And I just question how good of an athlete Frymuth is.
I think that's a good question, right? Like you said, the what's his ceiling, or does he have a ceiling? Is he what he is? Is he that? Does he have room to grow and get better? I'm pretty sure, if he falls into the right system, he can grow and continuously grow. But I mean, he is what the NFL is looking for, especially now when you look at the landscape of the actual NFL, we're seeing more and more teams adapt to a 12-man personnel. And just real quick, what that means, it's one running back, two tight ends. You see,
Right.
the reason why this we're seeing more of this is because that you got two tight ends, so that's like two additional blockers. So you got more lanes for your running back to choose to run and get get those crucial yards, especially first down, or maybe even break it for break it for a long touchdown. But if you can get yourself another tight end that maybe can, you know, stretch the seam, so to say, or work the zone, I mean,
Right.
it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for defense.
Well, having a productive tight end in a lot of cases is the key to the offense. We've seen some tight ends unlock some offenses that just constantly stalled out. Like even here in Detroit, I believe if TJ Hawkinson could turn out to be half of what people thought he would be coming out of Iowa, he can make Matthew Stafford's life a whole lot easier.
For sure.
So, like I said, I think people underestimate the value of a quality tight end.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, every NFL team, it looks like they're adapting that Seattle cover three defense. And I will tell you this: a 12-man personnel that Seattle cover three defense fits, right? Because I mean that you got you got so many blockers. I mean, it almost makes Seattle's defense look lost sometimes. So,
Well, you know
you know,
what? Also, I think a 12-man personnel, it forces the defense to stay honest.
yeah, that's very true. I think you
It
put it.
forces you to stay honest because you don't know. You don't know if it's running. You don't know if it's going to be a screen, whether there's going to be a counter, strong side. You don't know if it's going to be post. You don't know what it's going to be. So, yeah, I can understand why a lot of teams are adapting that 12-man personnel.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, uh, go look at the teams that made the playoffs last year. The majority of them had 12-man personnel. So, the numbers are there to prove it, and tight ends are very very important. So I think that a lot of teams are going to be looking at Freiermuth, right? I think that he's pretty much what everybody's looking for as day one. Of
Yeah, he's a
course,
plug and play player.
yeah, he's a plug and play player, and I'm not comparing him to Gronkowski. Neither is Walt, but the Penn State Nation, the announcers and people that just cheer him on, they call him Baby Gronk, right? I believe he's from New England, so
Yeah.
and he wears number 87. So just giving you guys a heads up. So moving along, who do we got next?
Brevin Jordan,
Private Jordan.
another hybrid tight end out of
Mm.
Miami, Florida. Um, he's an interesting prospect because when I remember him coming out of high school, and I thought to myself, okay, this is a strong, tough built, thick kid. I know I say that about all these tight ends, but honestly, all of these guys are, aside from Kyle Pitts, all these guys are strong and thick and tough built. Um, I expect him to be more explosive than what he is after the catch. When you look at his body type,
Yeah, six
he
three.
gets dragged down a lot. And I've seen it, like he stumbles a lot too. He seems to have an issue with keeping his footing in the open field. But he shows flashes. He shows flashes of elite talent, and then he disappears for a while because he doesn't make those dynamic plays. And I think that's the one thing that could possibly keep him out of maybe being a late first, early second round pick,
Mm-hmm.
unless he does wonders this year. He's not as dynamic after the catch. I do think he's actually a better pass receiver than Fryermuth.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades, but non-expert at any of them. And he's a better blocker than Kyle Pitts.
Oh, that's crazy.
So yeah, he's a good football player. I just don't believe he's elite at anything.
Makes sense. Yeah, I when I see him, he's a raw player. 6'3", he's the smallest of the bunch. Uh, I think from a lot of the prospects, right? Who do you got at number 5? Last one.
Um, Luke, I had Luke Farrell from Ohio State.
Oh man.
Another big shot. Luke is a different. He's in a different category. I think Luke is a guy who, coming out of high school, of course, I follow all these guys.
Yep.
Excellent player, 4-star, 5-star for some people recruit, and I think he got caught in the log jam at Ohio State. And it doesn't help the fact that collegiate offenses really don't help out the tight ends production a whole lot unless you're playing a pro style offense that exudes that. But the talent is there. The talent never corrodes. And I expect the big season for Luke Farrell. I think he's earned the trust of Justin Fields, and I think we'll see a lot more from him. Hopefully, we see something from any of these guys this season.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this. It's very hard, right? It's very difficult to compare. I mean, people are not gonna be too familiar with him because they don't really utilize the tight ends as much there at Ohio State. I mean, they do, right? But their play calling is more like a screenplay, right? So, I mean, when you look at the overall picture, I think that he does have he does, like you said, his where he's coming from. He actually came with a lot of accolades, right? He was well sorted out. He was well sorted out. So I think that he would be like a big surprise, kind of like a Terry McLaurin, the wide receiver from Ohio State, right? Nobody knew that he could be a superstar until he actually got into the league, and I could see that happening with Luke Farrell. But I mean the those are your top five. But I mean, just real quick, some notable mentions, right? I mean, we got this year you got Doug Peterson, the head coach from the Philadelphia Eagles. His son Josh Peterson also is being looked at. You got Hunter Long. Was it Jake Ferguson? That was your
Yeah,
number.
Jake Ferguson for
It was your.
Wisconsin.
He was number 7, right, for you?
Ferguson I had at number 7.
Yeah, number
Honestly,
7, and
um,
uh,
Ferguson's another intriguing prospect.
and Trey McBride. I think that Trey McBride's a really good blocker. So,
Mm-hmm.
but again, that's if he chooses to declare for the draft. So yeah, this is a deep draft class. Super excited to see if like I said, I'm staying optimistic. Let's see if we have a league, and if we have a league, let's see these players and see what they can do
Yeah,
as far as to add to the resumes, right? So
Jerry, I want to ask you one question.
yes, sir.
I know we have a whole nother season ahead of us, hopefully. But if you were betting on it, who would be the best tight end in 5 years out of that group?
Oh man. It's kind of hard. This is a very difficult situation for me because I did have Kolar number 3, but I went back to the tape and started watching, especially after we kind of talked about it. I went back and I said, man, this kid hasn't even his ceiling. He hasn't even hit his ceiling yet, and he's already playing with confidence, and he just knows how to put his body in a good position where he doesn't get hurt after a catch, especially for those tough catches down the middle. Firemouth, I think that's exactly what you're gonna get is what he is right now. I don't really see him. You know what I mean? Like, cause he's a little bit bigger. He's a bigger guy. Um, I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna give it to Kolar because if you look at it, Kolar has the ability to be to be in that same kind of mold as what you look for in the Travis Kelce's and George Kittle's, right? So I think that the way the league is running, I think Kolar will probably have a better career in the
Well,
NFL.
yeah, I think if you compare him and Fryermuth, I don't think Fryermuth will ever be a guy that's just completely sought out by his offense coordinator.
Yeah,
And now, he by no way is a liability offense, but I think Kolar and Pitts and specifically Pitts can be a weapon. He'll be a weapon.
for
I
sure.
think Kolar is the guy who offense coordinators will be planning. They'll be putting together game plans for him within that offense on 2nd and 5, on 3rd and 15, because
Yeah,
he's so big. He's big. He's got a great catch radius, and like I
yeah.
said, that touchdown that he caught against Texas Tech in the end zone, that would have been good in the NFL.
Oh yeah. And if you see it, I mean, he high pointed it and he got both feet inbounds, right? Because
Yeah.
in college you don't need to have both feet inbounds, but it just shows that he's ready. I mean, he's ready. Uh, it looks like if he could just fall into the right system, man, he's gonna turn some heads, and he's gonna be up there. I was telling you, I asked you if you had a player comp. I think we kind of threw the names around. You said you hadn't found one. I said it's kind of like a poor man's Zach Ertz to me, right? To me, a poor man. In
Mm-hmm.
other words, because Zach Ertz, he's had success as far as being a
Yeah.
receiver tight end and actually blocking. So I think that to me, I think Kolar kind of has a resemblance to Zach Ertz. So we'll see, right? Only time will tell. But let's see come to draft time who goes first, where they go, and we can
Oh,
come
right. Yeah.
and
We
we
know,
can,
like I was saying before, it's by next March, by next February, my list could look completely different.
yeah. Well, yeah,
You
that's
know.
also true. That's also very true. I mean, things can change from a month to 2 to 3 months. It could change, and we could be talking about a whole different player, right? Especially at this position. But the great thing is that this year's crop is really deep. So a lot of teams out there, there's some NFL teams that need, some tight end help, and this is the year they're going to be able to get it. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's zero Blitz Draft Coverage. Have a good one, guys.